Happy Friday, y'all. Tiffanie Kellog here for another episode of our Women Entrepreneurs Living Child-Free. And I am super excited today to be joined by Noleen. Welcome.
Hi, Tiffanie. I'm so happy to be here today. Very excited about this chat, actually.
Yeah? Well, what has you excited about this chat? Or it may be this chat, but it could be about this whole Women Entrepreneurs Living Child-Free. What has you excited?
All of that, all of the above, what you just said there. Really excited to talk to you, by the way, because obviously we connected before. So, obviously we loved the vibe with each other. So really excited about that. But again, very excited about this being, a space for child-free by choice, I should say, entrepreneurs. And that's something that very much excites me because I haven't seen anything like that out there at all. So it's really great to connect with other, like-minded people as well.
What do you find it is about the child-free by choice women? So y'all, if you're watching for the very first time, at Women Entrepreneurs Living Child-Free, we are celebrating, hey, and for some people it wasn't a choice, for most of us it was a choice. We're celebrating the fact that we do not have kids. Childless is a designation, means, they want kids typically, or they may have kids. Child-free is like, yeah, we're totally fine without having the children. So how has that been for you?
Yeah. So, I think what I'm going to say is probably something that we can all relate to. And it is that judgment that you get from people, it's that thing, oh, well, you don't have kids. So, you mustn't have a busy schedule, right? Like you don't understand what it's like, right? Hello, just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you don't have a busy schedule, right? So there's things like that, and I will say the majority of people, by the way, like this isn't, to sit here and slag off people who do have kids, and it's not you have kids or you don't have kids, like it's not that. And I do find that the majority of people, it's not an issue either way. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm respectful of the fact that they chose to have them, and they're respectful of the fact that I chose not to. But you do have, the few out there, obviously. And as I said, for me, one of the biggest ones that I find is around schedule. People thinking that, you just must have all the time in the world to do whatever the hell you want to do, and there's other things as well. But I think that would be kind of the main one, I feel, especially when it comes to the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody in the corporate world, and they were like, oh, yeah, because, when she had the baby, I had to do all the work and stay early and leave late. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's happening in the entrepreneurial world as well, especially in like maybe networking groups or group projects that people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why as well, like, look, we all should have good boundaries around stuff like this anyway, whether you have children or not. But I think in particular for for those of us who don't, and we are finding ourselves in situations like that, it is so important to have boundaries in place as well, because everybody's time, no matter whether you have children or don't have children, is still super important, and we have to be very, very careful of that time and not giving away our energy too much, or trying to always work around other people's schedules and to try and please them instead of your own. And there's a phrase that I used to hear growing up. It's like, suit yourself and you suit everybody. And it took me a very, very long time to actually take that on board. But it is true. And it's something that I've had to do myself as well. So again, like, that is something that I noticed, especially when I was kind of living in a place where I was maybe, say, meeting up with more entrepreneurs, and they'd be like, well, I have kids and I can only do this time. And I'm like, I found myself going, okay, well, whatever your schedule is, but that just didn't suit me. And I was getting like burnt out from that. And then I came to a point where I was like, no, like my time is just as equally important, and my, time with my partner and time for myself as well, So I had to get very strict on that as well and say, no, well, these are the times I'm available. What are you available? Let's see what we can find together, instead of always going, well, what are you free on then? Okay. Or just going with what they said,
Yeah. And if we can't meet in the middle, and neither of us are available, then maybe that says maybe we shouldn't be meeting. Maybe that's just the universe's way of saying, no, not going to happen today.
Yeah.
And that's
very,
okay.
very true. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to have you with us. Now, I'm based here in Tampa, Florida, in the United States. Your accent says that you may not be a Southern USer. So where are you
No.
from originally? Where are you currently at?
Yeah. Well, so I actually call myself a citizen of the world these days, but let me start with the beginning. It's an Irish accent, so maybe you did pick that up. I'm originally from Dublin in Ireland. I actually haven't lived in Ireland now for, oh my God, about 15 years now, I think it is. That's why I say I'm a citizen of the world. I've lived in 5 different countries. Definitely I'm planning on living in more. I probably am an adventurer by heart, if you like. Explorer. I love to travel. I visited, I don't know, 50 plus countries, I'd say at this stage.
Wow.
So yeah, and at the moment I am in Austria.
Nice. Not to be confused, y'all, with Australia, because I have heard that Austria actually has a whole like desk set aside for people that thought they were going to Australia.
That would not surprise me, actually. I had never heard that before, but I'm actually going to look that up now, Tiffany.
Yeah, y'all.
I wonder if it works the other way around.
But I'm like, that is hysterical. And apparently people like in big arguments anyway. So we're super excited to have you here. And yes, we are here to celebrate being child-free, but we're also here because my vision for the women entrepreneurs living child-free is to have a group, have a community for amazing women entrepreneurs. The flavor just happens to be that we are child-free. So it's not just about that. It's very much about business and getting to know each other. And so I'm super excited to have Noleen with us. So I've got her bio. Let's get started. We probably won't finish it in one go, but we're going to get started at least. So she is a video marketing specialist who helps impact-driven coaches, service providers, and digital product creators create speaking videos that connect, engage, and generate real results. So what do you mean by generate real results?
Great question. What I mean by great results is like basically getting engagement, right? And not just engagement like nice comments, like nice video, you know, and from either your peers or just from some random person, like actual engagement from people who are your ideal clients. You know, that actually then turns into like DMs, that having conversations with them, and that turns into like real leads, people really interested in working with you. And of course, ultimately then that turns into sales. And that's what I mean about, you know, videos that convert. And that's why, you know, having a strategy for that is super important, which again, we can obviously touch on in a bit and why. But that's basically what having real results is.
So it's interesting that you talk about generate real results versus you hear so many people all the time saying, I want to go viral. Is there a difference there? I have a feeling there's a dramatic difference. And so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Boom, you said it. There's a massive difference. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that was something I was going to bring up. I can't, like Instagram in particular, but you see this on TikTok, of course, as well, somewhat on YouTube and Facebook too. And everything is about, this is how you go viral, go viral, go viral. Okay, that's great. Go viral, but what's that going to get you, right? Now, if you want a video to go viral or videos to go viral, or you want to go viral, that's great, but it has to make sure that it's from the people who are your ideal clients. If you're going to get a video, let's say that gets 60,000 views, right? That's wonderful. But who are those 60,000 people? Are they your ideal clients? Are they people who are going to stick around and watch the rest of your videos, the rest of your content? Are they going to check out your offers? You know, are they interested in what you're buying, or sorry, what you're selling? Are they going to buy that? You know, and that's why the viral thing for me is, you know, it's made out that it's the be all and end all, but it's not. And the people who have gone viral and the people who are selling the viral stuff, you know, half the point I think is because they've gone viral is because people want to hear about viral and they're selling viral, right? But also the ones who are genuine and have genuinely gone viral and are genuinely big, like that's for a reason, right? Because when they are showing up in their videos, they're not just doing only the viral stuff, then they actually have like videos where they're speaking. So a lot of the viral trend, for example, is all around doing reels that are either faceless and or voiceless, basically, you know, where you're not showing anything of yourself, either just, you know, random pictures and things, or maybe it is your face, but you're not speaking. Those are good to have. And yes, they might get you viral, But again, then, you need to have the balance of the other stuff as well. So, okay, let's say I find a reel like that and I go, okay, great. Yeah, that's interesting. And then what I do is I go and check out the rest of their stuff. And I see, first of all, okay, well, do you have any speaking videos, right? Because I want to hear you, right? I want to see you. I want to know, do I vibe with this person, right? And this is why I love video, because it's the next best thing to being in a room with someone, right? Because you're going to instantly know, okay, I vibe with that person's energy or I don't. It's going to make you either want to stay or not. And that's a good thing, right? Because that's, again, why I love video, because I say it works well in both ways. And either A, gets people going, gosh, yes, I do. I can visualize this person already and what it's like to be in their world, or no, they're not for me. Great. Then you don't want, neither of you are wasting your time, and this is why I say about the viral thing, then it can be, for some people, actually more detrimental, because they might end up getting, more followers and things, but are they the right people? And that's why, for me, you don't need thousands or even hundreds of views. You don't need thousands of followers. You just need the right people. So if that's 100 followers and it's 100 of the right people, fantastic. So
in this instance, it sounds like more isn't necessarily better. This is definitely one of those quality kind of conversations of the people that are following you. Perfect.
100% of that, Tiffanie. Like I have, like one of my videos, for example, right? It got, I think I can't even remember at the last count, it's maybe about 113, 115 views, right? Which by most people is, oh my God, like it's only 115 views. Well, that video got me 2 clients directly from it, right? They were both people who'd never seen me before, knew nothing about me, landed on my profile, saw that video and, oh, okay. And they signed up to my paid workshop, as it was at the time. That also led then to other people who had already been working with me anyway, also saw that video, said, oh yeah, I want this as well. And then it led to repeat clients. And it also led to a VIP client. So that's from a video that only, quotation marks, right, has like just over 100 views. So do you see how when you're showing up, it's not about like, having tons of people. Sometimes it can be 2 people saw it and those 2 people might become clients, That's what's much more important. And that's why, as you say, the quality is more important. What you're saying, how you're saying it, Are you talking directly to those people? You only need people for that,
Yeah. And that actually, I kind of want to go back to your bio now, because what you just shared made me think of something that's in your bio. So Noleen, she works with entrepreneurs who feel unseen, unheard, or stuck following trends that don't convert. So what a perfect, conversation that we had just there around the viral. Now, here's what I'm enjoying. Through her no BS, action-focused approach, she helps entrepreneurs develop simple, intentional video strategy that cuts through the noise and speaks to their dream clients. And so I love that. And y'all, she does have a little free gift for us that we'll be getting a little bit later, a video sales accelerator. However, I'm not going to make her give us everything. That's the whole point. She's here to give us a little taste. So can you give us a little taste of what this looks like?
The free gift that I have.
Oh, not the free gift.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
But sorry, I was all excited. I'm like, y'all, you're going to get more. But kind of tell us a little bit about this, no BS approach that gives the intentional video strategy that cuts through the noise.
Okay. Well, I'd start off, if you don't mind, Tiffanie, because I think this is a good segue to it, sharing a little bit about my own story with video.
Yes.
Right? Because I am literally my own client, right? Like I have been where my clients are like now, and I've got to the other side, right? So this is why I feel I'm perfectly placed to talk about all of this.
Nice.
So for me, when I started with video first, the initial thing was feeling shit scared to get on video. It's like, oh my God, like I have to be visible and you're showing your face and your voice is going to be out there and you think it is the scariest thing. And at the time it was really scary. And I'm sure a lot of people out there, can relate to this as well. I thought that was the most scary thing that was going to be about video, right? I thought that was going to be the most important thing, was just actually getting on the video and then just, oh my God, getting over that, right? And I say to a point there was, but here's the thing that I learned with video, right? Like actually when you start creating your first 1, 2, 3 even videos, right? It's like anything in life, right? Everything feels scarier until you do it, okay? So I got over that bit pretty quickly, actually, much quicker than I thought I would, right? So the thing was, then I was creating videos I was creating lots of videos. I was doing everything that I was, the quote unquote experts were telling me to do, right? And nothing was working. So this is why I go back to that thing was I wasn't getting results, right? So I wasn't getting hardly any engagement on the videos. Again, if I did, it was just those, oh, nice video, or again, they were maybe like my business besties trying to, help me along type of thing, right? It was that kind of thing. Definitely not getting leads, no sales, right? And I'm there going, what the hell? Like, my videos are really good. Why am I not getting anything out of these? I was feeling so frustrated. And this is why I say this is the important part. It's the strategy, right? It needs an intention. So it's not enough to just show up on video and create videos, right? For me, it almost became a tick the box exercise, right? Where it was like, yeah, but I'm doing it. I'm visible on video. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But really,
you're like, I'm here. I've got all these videos. You can see
me. Exactly. And we think that that's the most important piece, but it's not. Because again, if you're not intentional with what you're doing with the videos, right? If it doesn't have some sort of strategy, and again, strategy is a word that freaks people out, but strategy is so important, right? Because strategy doesn't have to be this boxed in thing. And again, this is why I say, when I'm working with my clients, like I'm very much someone, I like to have the strategy for a starting point, but then I like to be able to, go off and use my intuition or whatever, my creativity when I want to. But the strategy helps you at least a little bit with that to actually get your creativity going, right? Get your intuition moving. Okay. And also then, as I say, then that's what makes it intentional as well. So you're not just all over the place. You're not just posting these videos for the sake of posting them and hoping that something's going to work. Right. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Tiffanie.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. Strategy is so very important. If it's like, if we're just doing it to do it, then you can do whatever you want. And the results are whatever you get.
Exactly.
Which isn't very intentional. And I think a lot of people in business, they kind of get, I'm in here, I'm in business. Yeah. And we'll just see what happens.
Exactly.
And that makes it hard. So tell me a little bit about the kind of clients that you work with.
So the clients I work with are generally, they're like service providers, coaches, course creators. Sometimes they're a mix of all of those as well. They're generally people who've already been in business like a few years. So like a minimum kind of 2 years and upwards. A lot of the time they're actually kind of one of two things. They're like, that they're already creating the videos. So as we said, but the videos are not working for them. They're like wondering, why are they not working? Why are our videos not getting seen? And spoiler alert, by the way, it is not the algorithm is not the reason why your videos are not being seen. Okay. Again, I'm actually going to give you, I'll touch on that in a moment and maybe give you a couple of tips on that, by the way. But so yeah, people who are kind of already creating the videos, but they're just not, as I said, getting that real engagement. It's not leading anywhere. It's not getting people asking for the links, those kind of things. And also I do sometimes work with people who are not yet on video. They haven't started using video, or they're kind of still at the very early stages of using video. And actually that's a good one, because if you haven't started yet using video or are not really doing it much, this is great. Like, I love working with people like that as well, because they haven't got any of the bad habits yet, as I say. Like when you're going to learn to drive, and they always say, go to an instructor before you like actually are driving for a while, because then you haven't got the bad habits. So it's kind of similar to that as well. But either way, like even if you are creating the videos, of course, like I love working with people like that. I love working with the strategy, because what I do is I can instantly see like, oh my God, well, I can see straight away where you can improve that. Or you can see, oh, this is what I would do here. Oh, here's content that can easily be turned into video content. Oh, this is what we can improve, So I just love getting my hands in there and helping people out with stuff. It's that thing. We often have the blinkers on, don't we, when it comes to our own stuff? Whereas I'm really able to see, like, that's one of my greatest strengths, is I can instantly something and go, oh, why don't you do it this way instead? This will work better, All
right. So I think you teased us with some tips to help us out. Now, yes. I know this is not going to be one of them, but I do want to make sure we get to it before we talk about the tips. I need to be perfect on camera, right?
Oh. Yes. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones, actually. And again, I relate a lot to my own story, because when I was creating videos first, I was creating scripts. and I thought I had to like memorize the script as if I was on a Broadway play or something like that. And I could not go on video or stage until I had memorized that. And if I would sit there and I would like, you know, if I missed a word, oh, right, that's it, I have to go back again. And like, honestly, there were times when a 2 or 3 minute video would take me hours just to record, never mind do any kind of edits and getting it out there. And sometimes I didn't even put them out there because I was like so exhausted after, or the whole message was diluted so much. And this was also one of the reasons why my videos were not landing. Like they weren't getting the engagement, the leads, the sales, all of that, was because they were too scripted. They were just not enough of me. You know, I was trying to be somebody else. I didn't think I wasn't like consciously doing it, thinking I have to, you know, oh my God, I have to be a different person. It wasn't like that, but it was more, I was looking at other people and seeing what they were doing, what was working. And I was like, oh, well, maybe if I sound like them, that's, you know, that's what I should do. And ultimately, all I was doing was hiding myself. I was hiding behind their voices. I was hiding behind what they were doing instead of just being me. And this is why when I let go of all that perfectionism and not worrying about if I missed a word, like I never have a script now. And when clients say to me, oh, you know, what do you recommend for scripts? What should I use? I say, nothing, just speak, you know. And what I realized was that when I started creating my videos, doing them conversationally, that's when they landed, because ultimately that's all it is, right? So I'll go back to what I said earlier, Tiffanie, where I said like video is the closest thing to being in a room with somebody, right? You feel like you are. And then that needs to be a conversation. Like if we were in a room together, we wouldn't go, hold on. So my name is Noleen and this is what I do and blah, blah. Like we wouldn't speak like that, right? You know, we just wouldn't. So why are we trying to do that on video? Okay. So this is why like now for me, like I go back to, it used to take me hours to create a video. Like now I can create a video in 2 or 3 minutes and do it in one take. You know, whereas I never would have done that before. And by the way, this is, as I say, coming from someone who is a perfectionist, like this is not about just putting anything out there for the sake of it. That's not what I mean. It's not about a drop in standards, but it does need to be conversational. Like, and those are the videos that land the most, because now it's like, I get an idea and instead of sitting on that idea for hours or even days, right? I just put the idea out and whatever comes out is what needs to come out, and then it's fine. And ultimately, look, if I really don't like it, I can delete the video, right? Like it's not the end of the world. So I can take it down, you know? And ultimately as well, these are the kind of videos that are working now, specifically now in 2025. Like things have changed. They're always changing. The only constant is change, right? Yeah. But that's a good thing, right? Because it means, you know, like people are really looking now for, it's a word's often overused, but I'm just going to use it, right? Authenticity, right? There's nothing more authentic than just you speaking and just being yourself and letting your personality come out. And if you miss a word, so what, right? If you say, or forget what you're going to say or look at your notes, it's perfectly fine because that's normal, right? That is a normal human being, right? And there is this big movement of people looking for that now. And they're so sick of generic, stiff, you know, perfectly curated, AI generated stuff, right? This is not about being anti-AI, but like they are sick of that, you know?
Right.
And they just
like,
want to feel.
Connect with who we are. And I laugh because people sometimes are like, Tiffanie, you left some mistakes in your video. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why'd you do that? I'm like, dude, I mess up all the time. Yeah. And people will see that when they come to me. And so if you expect perfect and polished, I am not the person for you. And if that's what you're looking for, I don't want you to see my video. Like I always laugh. So, I mean, I started dating my husband. We were sophomores in college. So I haven't done like the adult dating thing. Online dating wasn't a thing back in the day when I was dating. Yeah. We don't date at 18, whatever. But I'm like, I hear so many people talk and it's like, here's this perfect curated profile. And I'm like, no, I want to know the real you, because I don't want to spend 6 months trying to figure out who you are. Like, give me who you are up front and let me make the decision based on that. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head there. And it is a little bit like, you know, it's dating, isn't it? You know, like that's what business is as well. And it's like getting to know each other. And do I vibe with this person? Do I want to go on a second date with them? You know? Yes. And in our case, it's like reading another piece of our content or watching another one of our videos or whatever. And the thing is, that's more relatable, isn't it, Tiffanie? You know, like I'm like you, like I'm not perfect. Like I can be messy, you know, and I kind of like that about myself, to be brutally honest. And I like people who are like that too, you know. be around somebody that's always perfect, that would just get tiring.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's exhausting. Exactly. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
All right. So give us a couple of those tips and then tell us about your video sales accelerator, please.
Sure. Well, I want to say, I want to go back to the point I made about the algorithm, right? Because again, oh geez, on a daily basis, I see people bitching and moaning about the algorithm, right? The algorithm is not against you, first and foremost, right? Do these profiles change them all the time? Yeah. But that it's not to go against you or not have your stuff seen, right? And people think, well, Facebook or Instagram or whatever doesn't show my stuff anymore. Okay, but I have to say this. I'm sorry, I have to be really like harsh on this, but it's not the algorithm why your stuff isn't being seen. It's because your content isn't landing with people. Like it's just, and I'm the same, by the way. And this is not to be harsh. This is just data, right?
No BS. So no fluff.
No
It's
BS.
just,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that quite like that before. But that makes 100% sense. The algorithm is there to give people what they want. And if you're not giving people what they want, why would they put your stuff out there?
Exactly. Exactly. And obviously we won't have time to go into everything today, right? But like, I'm just going to give you one thing that's one of the number one things, right? That if you're not doing this, it's not going to get your videos seen. And it is related to your hooks and your descriptions.
Okay.
Right. So you might create a brilliant video, right? I see this so often with clients of mine when they come to me, right? And the video itself is actually quite good, right? But what's not good is the hook, right? It'll either be something like, right? Either I have seen no hooks at all, right? Oh my God. I mean, no one's stopping to watch. If you don't have you've just put up a video and there's zero text there, no one's watching that, right? Because people need a reason to watch it, right? Or some of the other hooks I see, like, hi, out walking today, or good morning. No one's watching that. Like nobody's watching that. Okay. You need to give people a reason to like watch your video, right? It's like, I used this analogy recently, actually, right? If you were to pick up a magazine, okay, and there's just the magazine article, but there's no headline, you're not going to read that article, right? Because you need to have a reason to read that article. Why should I be interested in this? Is it something I want to, spend my next 2-3 minutes watching or reading, right? Yeah. Newspaper, the same or whatever. That's what your hook is with your video and or your description. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be clickbaity and it doesn't have to be the world's greatest thing. I mean, hooks and descriptions are something I am continuously working on myself. I learn from other people on this and I always will. It's never going to be 100% perfect, right? Because there is no such thing, right? But you need to have, as I say, a reason for people to watch, right? Make it informative. It can be a question, right? It can be, even just tell them what the video is about. Like give them the bullet points, right? That you say, in this video, I talked about XYZ, right? That gives someone a reason to watch it, right? So that would be one of the top things that I would say is like, if you're sitting there going, my videos are not working, nobody's, watching my videos, the algorithm is not showing them. That's why, right? If you have something good like that and people start watching it, the algorithm will see this as, oh, okay, this seems to be something. I mean, remember, it's a computer, right? It doesn't have the ability to, well, I'm not going to show your stuff, right? It's not like that, right? There's no emotion involved here, okay? So, that's one of the things that's going to start getting it working for you, right? And then obviously, of course, the content, what you're saying in there, obviously has to speak to people as well. And, obviously there's a whole thing we could go into, of course, as well. And again, like things like call to actions are very important as well. They give people a reason to leave comments. Comments are going to work very well for you with the algorithm too, right? So again, that's what we're looking for. We want to get people to stop and watch the video. So your hook and your description is going to be super important for that. Okay. Obviously what you're saying in the video, and then giving people a reason then to actually want to engage with you. So they would be just a few tips there.
I so appreciate it. I know my audience so appreciates you sharing that, Noleen. Now, I also know that you've got way more brilliance going on. You want to tell us the special thing that you have for the viewing audience today?
Sure. So this is actually a free training that I have for you. It'll take you it's not super long, right? So it's not something, again, I'm all about quick action, right? Everything video is about taking action. And it's called the Video Sales Accelerator. Take you about 15 minutes maybe to watch the whole thing, and you can implement that again in another 5 to 15 minutes. So yeah, it's 3 videos that I talk about in there that are super important. They, again, will take you 5 minutes to create them or less. And they are videos that are going to make a huge difference. Again, it's about quality over quantity. And these are ones that are actually going to help you specifically with sales. So even if you've never created videos before, I still recommend doing this, because these are videos that are going to be ones you'll use on rinse and repeat over and over again. They're evergreen. So yeah, go and check that out. And make sure you let me know as well when you've implemented them, because I love when people come back and tell me, oh my God, I implemented this one, Noleen, and it's brilliant. And especially if it starts working for them as well. So yeah, that's what without giving too much, obviously, of course, but go and check it out. But I say the most important thing I want you to do is not just think, oh yeah, that's nice. I want you to take action, because again, if you're someone who's just starting with video, well, you'll only get good at being on video if you actually start. But again, if you want your videos to start improving, then again, going to that training will help you. And those are some of the things I just shared with you there, like the tips, that these videos are going to help you with some of those things I shared with you just there.
Awesome. And y'all, to make it easy, just go to bit.ly, the backslash thing, and all lowercase, VSA Noleen. So that's for the Video Sales Accelerator, Noleen, to get you there, get you signed up. Where else can we find you online? How do we reach out to you? How can we get in touch with you if we need that help for the strategy, the implementation, so we get the results that we're looking for and not just fluff?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram and on Facebook. So you'll find me as Noleen Sliney on there. And so just like my name is here on the screen. I'm also, I have an account on LinkedIn, but I'm not very active on there at all. And of course, then I have a YouTube, which again, I really need to start doing something with my own YouTube, actually. But yeah, it's mostly Instagram and Facebook. I have my website, which is noleensliney.com. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me there. You can send me an email at hello@noleensliney.com. Yeah, so any of those places, really, you can find me.
Isn't it great to be in this first generation of websites and social media where we're like, it's just my name, yay.
Yeah. See, again, and this is one of the things I go back to, we were talking earlier, it's about keeping it simple. I'm all about simple, quick action. So in fact, these are like my core values in my life in general. It's like, how can I make it simple and how can I make it fun? That's one of my big mantras in life and in my business. So yeah, one of my mentors, she always says, I'm going to paraphrase here, I think now, but it's something like, complicated is costly, something like that, I think it is. And I love that phrase. Yeah, it's great. So true.
The more simplistic, I find it's the easiest for everyone involved, and that makes a difference. And y'all, I just totally messed up on that, what I was trying to say. And it's not the end of the world when you're not perfect on video. Ha. So
that's what people want. They don't want perfect. They want you exactly as you are. That's why, Tiffanie, your people love you.
And if they don't love me, then they're not meant to be my people. And as a speaker, really early on in my career, it was hard because if you're a product provider, they're like, oh, I don't like the product. When you're, a speaker, a coach, a consultant, an author, when they don't like what you're sharing, it's like they don't like you. And so it hurt my heart a little bit when I first got started. I have since got over that, y'all. And I'm like, I know the right people come on in and let's play. And the people that aren't meant to spend all this time with me, they keep on going because they're like, I remember I once had a speaker coach that was like, you need to stop saying ain't and y'all. Oh. And work on toning down your Southern accent.
Oh, yeah, whatever. You don't want to talk to that person. No, they're not for you, Tiffanie. No.
Yeah, I did not hire that person because I'm like, I'm not trying to be like everyone else. I remember once I was at a National Speakers Association convention and there were 2 speakers. The first gal, 20 plus years in the industry, she did everything right. Standing, talking, she just was doing it all that perfect way. The other guy did everything wrong. Like behind the podium, pointing the clicker at the screen, ums and ahs, using notes. And on the way home, I'm talking to my husband and I'm like, hey, honey, so there were 2 speakers. And the one I liked was the imperfect one. The one that, that was the one that I was like, it didn't matter that he was doing all of this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
He was just sharing who he was. And to me, that
Yes.
makes a difference. And so if we can see that in your old video, y'all, that's what we're
Yes.
looking for.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like, Tiffany, what you just said there is actually something we could talk about for 30 minutes alone. Because I have stories too about things that were said to me that used to bother me as well. And yeah, and there's just so many tips I could give people on that as well. But yeah, it's such an important point. And ultimately, Tiffany, and I know so we're just finishing up now, but I just want to say this, that you've hit the nail on the head there. There's a reason why you liked that second guy and not the first girl. And that's because it's just that human thing, right? That never goes away. It's about connecting, right? And we do connect with those people that are like us, right? And that's what we want. It's why when we watch a movie or we read a book, the person that we like the most is actually the imperfect person in any of those stories. And especially if somebody is, again, standing up and telling their story as well. Again, there's that human connection. And it's not about telling the story in a perfect way. It's just about being themselves and really feeling something. We want to feel something, right? I wasn't there, but yet what I'm thinking in my head from that woman, I'm like, I don't feel anything. It's just cold and it's just, oh, it's too perfect. It's like if you walk into someone's house and their house is so perfect, you're afraid to sit on the sofa. Gosh, no, like I'm afraid to even breathe in here in case I get into trouble. It's like I'll make a mark somewhere. Whereas you want to go into someone's home where you're like, oh, I can sit on the couch like this if I want or whatever, And this guy sounds like that, and he made you feel something. Yeah. And that's what we want with anything we're doing, whether it be our written content, our videos, whatever, podcast, audio. It's the same. You want people to feel something. And you make them do that by just being you.
Yeah. And I think it's such an interesting thing that we're going to swing back around to this. However, y'all, bit.ly/VSA Noleen, get there, grab your free training there. But I think it's interesting that we're talking about this, be authentic and be you and be who you are on a Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free, because this is a group that gets a lot of judgment, that gets a lot of, you should be doing this instead, you should be doing that instead. Do you have a message that you want to share with those women entrepreneurs, whether it's related to videos or just life in general? Ooh, that's a big question that I just threw out there. Sorry. But it's the last one today, so,
I actually think it's a perfect question. And as someone whose life is completely unconventional in so many ways that I haven't even talked about to them, and even like my life, the way I live in different countries, well, there's so much I could say on this, right? But you are allowed to do whatever you want to do. And I think particularly because this is specifically for women, and obviously there's child-free men as well by choice who choose that too. Obviously my partner, your partner, they're both child-free by choice as well, right? Women in particular, and especially when it comes to this topic, we have lived with all the shoulds for like thousands of years, right? And I feel like there's so many people talking about women's empowerment today, and isn't it great? And yet some of those people, when they talk to people, like here's someone like ourselves that are child free by choice, it's almost like, oh my God, and they're judging us. And I'm like, but isn't that, you're talking about women's empowerment here, and isn't it great we can have the choices to make, do whatever we want? And yet we have made this choice, and all of a sudden then that's not a good thing. No, like it is. You get to do whatever you want, right? That is the whole point. That's what empowerment is, whether it be male or female empowerment, by the way. And that is a good thing, right? And it is a great thing that we have that available to us today. I mean, there's even parts of the world where that's not available, even in this day and age, right? So I feel like that we're very lucky to have that, have that choice. And also just because we are child free, right, by choice, doesn't mean that like, well, look, I mean, I could go down a rabbit hole of all that things that are said about us, right? I won't, right? But, we are bringing, I feel like what we're bringing to the world is that almost permission, if you like. I hate kind of using that word, but you know what I'm saying? We're encouraging people to, and giving them the permission to make whatever choices they want as well. Like, I feel like that's what I am doing with this, for myself, but also I feel I help inspire other people to go, you know what, you can make the decisions in your life that work for you as well. And if they work for you, they'll work for everybody else. And I feel that the world would be a happier place if we all did that instead of all the shoulds. And the reason why so many people maybe are making judgments about us or other people, whatever, in certain things, is because they haven't felt that they could do that about themselves. Therefore, they feel they're making that about others. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I haven't really articulated that very well, but I hope that you got the point of what I was trying to make there.
I totally get it. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I feel, and most of the moms wouldn't admit this, but sometimes there's a little bit of jealousy.
Yes.
And it's not, okay, I think it's jealousy both that, oh, you have that flexibility and freedom, but I think that even stems more from, and I didn't know I had that choice.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And so, yeah, my, you know, and I love, you want to have kids, great. You don't want to have kids, great. Like I am all about you choose what works best for you in your life. And I just hope that more women, entrepreneurs or not, realize. And I'm just like, man, women entrepreneurs that have chosen not to have kids, A, we're already in the minority of being an entrepreneur, which is a small group.
Yes.
B, we're a woman. And C, we're in this, like I was trying to describe to somebody, I'm like, I'm looking for this sliver of the population. They're like, yeah, it's a pretty small sliver. I'm like, yes, and that's why we need each other. So Noleen, I thank you so much for coming to share with all of the entrepreneurs watching today, and especially your thoughts and your love for the other ladies out there this way. And yeah, we can probably come back again and have way more conversations. We're just starting today. And y'all, if you're enjoying this, we do have a Facebook group just for women entrepreneurs living child-free. It's facebook.com groups. Women entrepreneurs living child-free, keeping it simple there. So women entrepreneurs living child-free. Come hang out with us on Facebook. We will ask you questions because I do want to make sure that you're actually a child-free woman. But we look forward to hanging out. Thank you, Noleen, so very much for joining us all the way in from Austria on this amazing Friday.
Thank you so much, Tiffanie. I've absolutely enjoyed this so much. I love what you've created. It's so needed. It really is. And it's such a beautiful space. And it's been a true honor to be here today to talk to you. And hopefully everybody enjoyed this as well, found it valuable. And looking forward to connecting with everybody.